double strokes. In this video I want to talk about double strokes and the exercise that will help you get them and make them powerful, smooth, and even. So we're going to start with what we have previously done in the video about the piston stroke or the rebound stroke. If you remember in that one, we would start with our wrists fully back and just play down into the drum and come back. So what I want you to notice there is that there is in fact two motions giving us one note. We go down to the drum and then we come back. So this time what we want to do is we want to get two notes for that amount of motion. So here's how we do it. So we're starting with our wrist back. I'm going to play down into the drum and then allow the stick to come back up without raising my wrist. And we do that by extending the fingers. So let's take a look. Down into the drum, the stick came back up, but my wrist didn't. My wrist is still flat. My fingers extended. My fingers followed the stick. So now that if I shut my fingers, there's the second note. So let's try that again. My wrist is fully back. I play down into the drum, extend my fingers, and then close my fingers. There's the second note. Let's do that again. So here we start, play down into the drums, extend the fingers. My wrist is still flat. I have not picked up my wrist. My wrist has stayed down. So that when I shut my fingers, there's the second note. So I want to add one thing to this. So we start with our wrists fully back, play the first note. Now with the second note, after you've closed the fingers, I want you to lift the wrist. As soon as you make contact with that pad, bring your wrist back up. Then we're back where we started. So wrist down, fingers extended. Close your fingers, lift your wrist. Down with extended fingers, close your fingers and bring up your wrist. First note, second note, first stroke, second stroke, double stroke. So let's talk about some problems that I see that I encounter with students. One of the problems that they'll do is they'll go, after playing the first note, they'll bring their wrist back as if they had been playing singles. If you do that, when you go to close your fingers, the drum won't be near you. You can go ahead and close your fingers, but you're not going to hit the drum. So what you need to make sure you're doing after you play that first note is that the wrist stays down. Then you close your fingers and raise the wrist. Just take your time. This can be tricky, a little bit frustrating. The stick may fly out of your hands a bunch of times, but you have to find a way to follow that stick. So this is another problem that I encounter with students when they do this. Initially, they may go play the first stroke, and then they send their fingers out ahead of the stick. They don't wait for the stick, they just kind of flick them out, and they may or may not be in contact with the stick. So you need to follow that stick. As that stick raises up, your fingers are on that stick. Like if I were to put my hand like this for you and open and close my hand, or open and close my fingers, you see my fingers never leave the stick. So that's exactly what we want to do in the double stroke. I'm following that stick. And coming right back to where I started. Of course, you do all the same stuff with your left hand. You may struggle more if it's your weak hand, and that's totally normal. So I want to add one more thing. I want to accent the second stroke. We want to develop our finger muscles. We want to develop the sensitivity to be able to follow the stick and to be powerful. So in order to do that, we're going to add an accent, get some strengthening of our fingers going on. So play the first note, open your hands, go ahead and shut it, but give it a good, snap. Without squeezing the stick. You're putting power when you snap your fingers closed, but immediately your grip becomes relaxed. Power and then relax. So down, snap it and return. Down, snap it and return. You can do lots of this. I recommend that you do lots of this. Getting double strokes takes time. You have to be committed to doing these exercises on a regular basis. And before too long, they should start to appear. But it takes time. You have to be patient with this. So go ahead and do your left hand separately from your right hand. So wrist back, snap it, return to where you started. My wrist is down, my fingers are extended, snap it, get right back where you started. So when you feel comfortable, you can go ahead and go hand to hand. Do in the right hand, left hand. Don't be in a hurry. Make sure that it feels good. Are your hands relaxed? Are you following the stick? Are you accenting on the way up? Take your time. Aim for one spot. All the things that I previously talked about in the grip, etc., apply here. Make sure your thumb's on the side, your first finger's on the side, you're not squeezing. So you can go ahead and let's connect those into steady stream of eighth notes, removing the gap between the right and the left, so you get more of this type of sound. Snapping those fingers back. Speed it up a little bit. Really snapping those fingers. Now if you have a heavier pair of sticks, now is a great time to use them. So just as you would go to the gym and you put some weight resistance and do some exercises, do the same thing here. A heavier pair of sticks will provide that. So if you've got them, use them. If you don't, I recommend you get a heavier pair of sticks for working out like this. And after a while, you'll start to feel a little bit of like you have been working out. Feel those muscles starting to wake up. Getting those fingers snappy and powerful. Lots of this. And then you can go ahead and speed up. Actually, let me back up for 1 second regarding the accent. Another reason we're doing the accent is to help even out the sound of the first and the second stroke. We want them to sound as equal as possible. So developing the strength in your fingers is going to allow you to have your double stroke sound even. So now you can go ahead and speed up a bit. As you speed up, at a certain point getting the accents will become very difficult, maybe even impossible. So at that point you can kind of let the accent go and just go for evenness of the two strokes. So I'll go from slow to fast and I'll try to keep the accent for as long as I can and then I'll let it go. And here we go. So the next thing we want to do is mix our singles with our doubles. So essentially we're doubling our speed. So again, go at a comfortable, moderate speed where you feel like you're in control. So you could do something like this. And if you're feeling comfortable, go ahead and speed it up. You could also, working on the exact same idea, do it in a triplet form. So groups of threes. So in this case, what I'll do is I'll play 6 notes as singles and then double those 6 notes. So that would give us a triplet or 6/8 feeling. Of course, go ahead and speed that up if you feel comfortable. So there's your double strokes. So have some fun with that. Be patient, take your time. It will work for you, but you gotta be patient. Okay, see ya.